Anybody not got a copy? So we've handed around copies of the book, which we think is pretty amazing. We really it's an amazing project, and it's been wonderful to work on. So what's going to happen now is that Jill and I are going to go through a bit of a presentation about, why we did it, how it happened, and stuff like that. People are going to read 3 extracts, anonymous extracts, out of the book, and then there's a time for questions and discussions or anything else like that about it. Okay. We'll go through how it kind of happened, but we also had an art project running alongside. So this is one illustration from it. It's a bit fuzzy on here, but it's clear in your book. Lots of stuff in there which really sort of sums up kind of why we tell a story. Just let you know, as we go through these slides, we prepared them for something else before the book was ready. So we've used lots of illustrations, and it does make the text up here a bit hard to read sometimes, but that just because we were so bowled over by the illustrations, we wanted to use those. So we're going to talk through the text as well, so not to worry.
Right, now, why we wanted to run the project? And I'll let you know in a moment. We were inspired by the original research project, which I was part of in the North Powys. And we wanted to do something similar, because that was so successful. We wanted to be part of the DIY legacy. We wanted to involve people in a really positive experience. And want to demonstrate the power of being listened to, what happens when you ask people to tell you about themselves, and when they know you are truly listening. We wanted to give the opportunity to say, this is me, this is what has happened, this is what is important to me. Without time limits, content limit, interpretations, questions, counselling, judgments. Why people wanted to be involved? They trusted DIY. They would be experienced where everyone was equal and valued. To inspire others to carry forward the power of realising that it is possible to tell your story. People wanted to help others to realise you can get through, there is hope. To be involved in a useful, lovely project being valued. And this is one of the illustrations from the book that was done during the visual arts project. What we've done, we've produced a beautiful book, at least we think so. We've generally involved people, everyone who took part, I can't even read it, took part were service experts, who may be service refusers, in all aspects, as listeners, as storytellers, in the artwork, reviewing the book, book proofs. We run listening skills training, which was a 4 days plus a catch-up day for people who missed a day. And we selected most people who came as listeners. We run a visual arts project, which included 4 workshops. We offered the chance to be listeners, storytellers, do the art project, or any combination. The art group selected final artworks to go into the book. We asked the designer to attend art workshops. How? We invited people through personal contacts to be listeners, storytellers, to be involved in the art project, or all 3. We had an introductory day. We did skills training, listening skills training. We matched people in a variety of ways, the listener to the storyteller. We selected lovely venues because we wanted to show people we really valued their contribution and involvement in the project. We listened for as long as the story required. There was no time limits. People just were allowed to tell us as much or as little as their stories they wanted to. And all the stories were digitally recorded. All the stories were then transcribed. The stories were then returned back to the people, and we were asked them to reduce their stories down to 1,500 words. Unfortunately, because of the confines of the book, we had to ask them to reduce their stories. We provided transport when needed. We paid a thank you to everyone of £25. We offered support to the listeners and to the storytellers as and when needed. That's one of the storytellers also hand wrote their story, which was just so wonderful that we've actually included that into the book as well. The project has exploded the myth that people involved will be distressed by telling it. And Jane should really be reading this because she can read it better than I can. Will be distressed by telling their story. That they won't cope with difficult material. Sorry. They can't hold confidentiality. Shown that.
This is a quote from somebody that was involved in the thing. And we've shown that after reading his and other stories, I realised again that you don't know what people have gone through or are going through when you meet them. So that's... So now 3 people are going to read a section, each chosen section to read from the story. So,
did I really scare you? I didn't mean to. You shouldn't have been there. I thought you'd left. But Eric kept talking. I had to listen. To him slagging you off. It was him made you go. I call him Eric. He's there all the time. He watches and follows me. I want him gone. Sometimes he's nice to me. That's when I need him. Sometimes he lies to me. How can I tell? So when it got nasty, I just couldn't take it. I saw you hurting. The knife was right there. You were there watching, but I couldn't see you. You were there speaking, but I couldn't hear. Nothing to keep me, no one to hold me, no point in living, time to go now. But something was shining, the sun on the knife blade, my life in reflections, followed by in a stream. I put the knife down.
I love school. I can remember school. I was quite clever at school. Well, actually, I did pass my 11 plus. But I couldn't go. No uniform. No, nothing. So I've always resented this, actually. My place was given to another girl, you know. Even now, that's told you, you can't go, so the other girl can go. Things like that stick in your mind, don't they? When I was 14 years old, my dad made me stay away from school because my mum was pregnant again. So I never actually left school. When I was 15 years old, I left before. I never had a party, a school party or anything like that. Mind you, the neighbours used to help us out. You know, them that hadn't got much. They always used to help each other. But nobody never took we out. We never went to a party. There was parties going on further down. The girls had parties, the sons had parties. We were never invited to any of them. And he went to jail. My dad went to jail. He hit the bailiff with the fender off the hearth, and he went to jail for 3 months. Then were the best times of our life when he weren't there. But I weren't on my own, you know. There's lots in those days. When we were children, there was a lot of families poor and got knocked about like we did, you know. We weren't the minority. There were a lot like us. I can remember the girls at school saying, "Oh, my dad had one on him last night," because they used to drink. The wife was the homemaker, but the men used to go out and drink, didn't they? They still do, don't they? But I mean then, the money wasn't about, but they still found money for boozing. But I can see me mum standing in front of me dad when he'd got one on and standing in front of we, so that she got the bunches, you know. She never ever raised a finger to any of us, me mum, never did. I said he's made up for it. It's a wonder we've turned out the way we are, isn't it? I can remember now when people came knocking on the door for the money, and we used to hide down the back of the settee, and my mum would say, shh, and we were all frightened to talk. Oh, the pounding of your heart. Oh, you remember them things, don't you? If you couldn't pay the bills, then they'd come knocking on the door, and we'd have to hide and make believe we weren't in. Oh, dear, dear, dear. I think that's why my children never did without. They've not been spoiled, but I've never hit them, and my husband certainly wouldn't. He was an only child and very quiet, and I think I brought my children up correctly. I'm proud of my children and my grandchildren, really. I think because of my background, I think that's why. We've had some tragedies in our life. We had a few good times. We had few good times up until I got married.
Hello, here's mine. I was lucky my CPN managed to find me a place in Telford, which was more relaxed than Shelton Hospital. I thought I was only going for a few days, and I hated it there at first. There was bed checks every hour, which disturbed my sleep, and they even gave me flashbacks. By the fourth night, I decided I couldn't put up with this place any longer. Then one nurse showed me some kindness, above and beyond the call of her duty, and that changed my mind and made me realise that I had to accept help from others and give the control over to those who say they know best. Because of this, I started to feel a bit better, and I even made a friend, something I hadn't had since I was 9. One thing that has helped me with my mental health is keeping busy. I don't mean the daily chores, I mean I have joined every course Pontavern Outreach has put on, and because of this I am now doing a BTEC in art and design. I also teach craft on a voluntary basis at the Outreach. Many people say they admire me. My CPN says I am an inspiration on legs. They should say I should be proud of what I can do. But all I think is, are they saying that because I don't let my eyesight dictate what I can do? Or is it because I have real talent? When I was asked to tell my story, I said yes straight away. It is easy for me to talk about the past, for I have no emotional connection to it. What I didn't realise was that meant reading what I had said. I didn't realise that what would happen was I would get connected to the past, and it would bring up feelings I had locked away a long time ago. The door is now unlocked, and hopefully, although painfully, I know that one day soon the door will become completely open, and I can deal with the past properly, and I will be able to feel things once again. Blessed be.
Just want to say, with the stories, people, after they've given them, they could then, for the inclusion in the book, they could use how they wanted to. So some chose to rewrite their story, some chose to write it in a poetry form. So there was different formats, no one was constrained, they could use whatever style they wanted to. And so we've got a wonderful mix in the book, which is what has been illustrated by the 3 stories there. And a massive thank you must go to our designer, Johan, who has done an absolute amazing job with our book. He came to our visual art project so he could get a real feel for what people were doing with their art. And he's done an absolutely, well, we've been just amazed by it. He's interpreted it, he's been so sympathetic. It's gone far beyond our expectations. So a huge, huge thank you, Johan, for being part of our project and producing a wonderful book for us. So thank you.
So has anybody got any, questions, points to discuss? What would you like?
Can I?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
I can't read from the book. I can't control my emotions.
Do you want something else to do?
I was crying on just reading the first story. But the thing is, you read my story, and you can't miss reading my story. It's Stamford's, and you've got to read it. It's oh no, you'll laugh. I hope you will anyway. But the thing is, in part of the story, I was my in-laws made me a partner in buying these 2 cottages. They couldn't get a mortgage. It's in the book. I'll skip a lot. What I want to say is that they wanted the house for these foster children, right? Without the house, without my house, they couldn't have the foster children, right? Now the thing is, I let them have the 2 bedrooms, and in the end I finished, I think it's in the book, I finished on the floor in the kitchen and whatever. So what I've got now is a house that I bought 25 years ago, and there's nothing in it, and I'm still sleeping on the floor, right? But you can laugh about it, because I'm laughing now. It's so ridiculous. But the thing is, what I've done is I let 4 children have security and everything that a child should have. And it wasn't worth it. No. The thing is, one lad, he came visiting next door, never came round to see me. They didn't know about this. They were conned into thinking that it was the foster mother and father that was doing it, but it wasn't. They didn't tell them. So this lad, he came on, the ball went over the hedge, and I started talking to him, and he was saying how good my sister and brother-in-law was, and that he said a lot more, and I said, I'm sorry to tell you, but it wasn't, they couldn't, all they were after was money, and that's all they were after. Anybody can see that, just seeing it like. And I said it was me who let you have the bedrooms. I don't want to know about it, but anyway, that's another story. The thing is, it's a pilot now, and the other lad, he's got his own business in Shrewsbury, and I don't know what the other lad was doing, but the girl, she married a white lad, and she's got children, and they're very happy, and I'm glad that I was part of this.
Anybody got any questions, any things they'd like to say? Any stuff in the book? Or the process?
Done. It's my change, isn't it?
Right. Did everybody hear that? Thank you to the people that came up and read the story.
Thank you to all the people that were generous enough to give their stories, and to the ones that became listeners as well. Without it, it wouldn't have been possible. So for that, we only definitely thank you.
Okay. There's a couple of different things that in the timetable. I think we allowed a bit long for this, so we got kind of a bit of manoeuvrability. I wonder if people that have been down in the 2 rooms, I don't know whether, Laura, whether you want to say anything about what kind of happened there. I'm putting you totally on the spot. So while you're thinking about that, one of the things that I suggested, and I don't think anybody's done, but I just give you a sort of last sort of chance to think about it. If any of you want to make connection with somebody else who might want to start up something in your area, so if you wanted to start whatever, peer support group, a group for this or a group for that, and you'd like other people to join with you, you know, you can either come up directly now and say, so that's, yeah, no.